The brand new Yonex VCORE is here.
But is it better than the old version?
So yes, the end is nigh for this old beauty because the new VCORE is here. And we've been testing them at length, Ben.
Yeah, is this a sentimental moment as we say goodbye to one of our favourite rackets ever, right?
Yes, I don't feel particularly sentimental about it, but that's only because the new one is so good.
Yeah.
Yonex promises more spin and slightly more power.
There's so many promises made when new rackets are released, and a lot of our audience are sceptical, let's say, about whether there's actually a difference or not.
Naturally.
Yeah, and we are generally fairly positive people, I'd like to say. But we too share some skepticism about this stuff, especially when we really liked the old VCORE. We used it for all of our string testing. It was such a nice, all-round quality racket. You know, Yonex is renowned for its build quality and just the quality of the frames they make. What is different, Joe, in this new version?
Well, what you've got from Yonex is the 4 S's, and this is all designed to give you more spin. The VCORE being the spin frame, or we'd sort of argue that, it's kind of an all-rounder, but the spin frame in Yonex's range, we've got the 4 S's, and they are stability, sweet spot, snapback, and speed.
Well done. I didn't think you'd get them.
I got them. If you want the details on those, you need to check out Nerd Corner in our other videos so you can get all the details on how the racket is actually providing these 4 things.
One new thing we are going to tell you about now quickly is the servo filter. Servo filter is technology that some of you may have experienced in the Percept, which is going to change how the racket feels. The 4 S's are essentially changing how the racket plays, and that is what we will cover in depth.
Yes.
Before we go into any more though, I want to talk about looks.
Okay.
Joe, and I think of all the rackets from version to version, this is one of the biggest upgrades ever. That is such a nice looking racket compared to that old one.
It's tremendous, and despite being bright red, and I've covered this in another video, despite being bright red, it's remarkably subtle for the Yonex racket.
It is always,
it's pretty clean, and that's great. So already, in terms of an upgrade, the new one is winning.
Yeah, even if that matters to you, it's enough of a reason.
Exactly right. So we are going to be focusing now on the 98 and the 100. The specs of the 2 rackets are the same as the previous versions, but the tech and the layout and the way the racket's made has changed. Now, we've got other videos out there where Nerd Corner goes into great detail.
Some could say too much detail.
Yes, you could say that. But the specs and the tech, if you want those, head over to those videos now or click that thing up there, which should be popping up to take you to the right place. We're going to delve into how the racket actually plays, how it feels, and what our thoughts and feelings were about whether you should upgrade yours.
Yes, and that's the big question, right? Is it worth changing from the old one to the new one?
As always, we are rigorous in our testing, Ben, but not just in the playing of the rackets, but in how the rackets are set up in order to make it a fair test.
Yes, when we originally used the VCOREs back, a few months ago now, we were allowed to try a new string. So it's Polytour Force?
Yeah.
But we don't have that yet. So we strung our new VCOREs up in Polytour Pro, the same as our old ones, same machine, same stringer, same tension. That's £50 for those of you who want to know. And we've been using them for a while in various locations, various surfaces, different players, different times. So we've got a good, thorough understanding so we can give you the perfect review.
Yes, by the end of this review, you will know whether you need the new one or not.
You do.
You do. Not going to pull the wool over your eyes. We haven't just gone and played because it's snowing outside. We have tested these rackets thoroughly over the last couple of weeks. Your first thoughts, Ben?
If we haven't given it away already, really, really, really good, this new version. I mean, it's remarkable considering how much we liked the old one, but somehow Yonex has done its magic again.
Yeah.
Almost like the Z-Zone. It's like a year has passed and they've pulled exactly the same trick again. They've taken a very good racket and made it even better.
Yes. Yeah.
Done. Video ended.
For me, the overriding thought, if we are strictly talking now, we're not going to go into too much depth on the whole range. We're strictly talking about 98s and 100s, but this is about the whole range. And the increase in stability, that's one of the 4 S's, that is the most noticeable to me.
Yeah.
The stability has increased massively and it makes a world of difference to this racket.
Yeah, it's one of those things that the technical changes that have been made have resulted in a significant playability upgrade that not only can you see in terms of where the ball's going, but you can feel.
Yeah.
And that's what's so impressive, is that you not only can you feel why it's better, you can see why it's better as well.
Yes, exactly right.
Which is rare.
Yeah.
And you know, just for a bit of comparison, there are lots of rackets that get improved and they change significantly. For example, the Babolat Pure Drive, I absolutely despised the old version, and the new one was brilliant. And you do have these big changes sometimes, and that's why we said we were a little bit skeptical, because we did like it. But yes, like we said, somehow they've managed to make it significantly better. Both of them, all of them.
Yeah.
There you go. So what we're going to do now is go through the 98.
Yes.
And a little bit later, we will take you through the 100.
Yeah, so we'll go through our usual categories: power, spin, control, touch and feel on each the 98 and the 100. Stay tuned. Our categories.
Power, spin, control, and touch and feel.
I suddenly find myself becoming very serious. It's categories. But no, it's categories. So starting with power. Now, Yonex promised more power. Well, actually, do you know what? Technically, they haven't promised that in any of the documentation or any of the bump going out. It was promised to us by insiders, Ben.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You know who you are, insiders. This is on you if people disagree.
Yeah. But the 98 does deliver a soupçon.
Very good.
A tiny amount more power. Not wild, not out of control. It is not a dominating factor in the racket.
No, absolutely not, no.
But there is definitely a shade more power.
Yes, I'm not going to comment on power just yet, because I'm going to cycle back to it in a minute, and you'll see why. But yeah, I completely agree with what you've just said. The main thing we were expecting is the spin.
Yes.
That was what was promised. And interestingly, if you've seen our full range review, we had a slight disagreement between us on this one, because Josh was under the impression that it wasn't that much spinnier, and we both felt there was. But what the conclusion we came to, and I think this is what's been played out with a bit more testing, is that it's because the racket feels better and because it's a bit more solid, it gives you a bit more confidence to play with more spin. And I think this is what I mean about the power. Similar on the power aspect, you just sort of trust the racket more.
Yes.
And that's what stability does, or that's what the new stability in the VCORE 98 makes me feel.
What I would say is that because of the stability, I feel more confident in swinging it, like Ben was saying, and therefore more power and more spin come as a result of that, and that's really cool. So I think that the biggest, most impressive thing about the 98, the new version especially, is the control.
Yes.
And I think that because we're talking about it feels like it's got more power and it's got more spin, but also with that freedom of striking the ball, you might expect a little bit more chaos, a little bit more balls going long, things like that. And it's absolutely not the case for the 98.
No.
It is really, really, really controlled. It's, to me, almost more controlled than spinny.
I think it's a really good example of that racket that it doesn't give you anything, but it allows you everything. So it doesn't give you power, it doesn't give you spin, it doesn't give you control, but it's so well made and so well rounded that you can choose which one you want, and the racket's good enough to give it to you.
Yes.
Do you know, I'll try and think of an analogy, but it's like, if you want to play flat and drill it and smash every ball, the VCORE 98 goes, I'm with you. And if you want to play touch and feely and serve and volley, the racket goes, I'll do that as well. And that's very, very rare. But also, it's not because the racket isn't making you, it's your choice. And that's what control is to me. It's I'm still in charge of what's happening here.
Yes, exactly. And I think that when we talk about feel, it's going to bring this whole thing together, because it is that feel, that sense of security that you can swing big, that you can add loads of spin. It's that way of playing that the racket is allowing you to do that actually gives a feeling. So we're not talking about actual feel, but it's actually a feeling within. That sort of feels like it opens up the court and it opens up the racket because of the added stability and because of the way this new racket is constructed. It allows you this freedom and it allows you to feel your way around the court.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It 100% makes sense. And I think maybe we've buried the lead a little bit here, because both of us described this racket as nigh on perfect.
Yeah.
And maybe we should go back and stick this earlier in the video. But the VCORE 98 is about as close as you can get to the perfect tennis racket.
Yes.
If you want a racket that allows you to do whatever you want and sort of be there in support.
Yes.
Do you know what it's like? The VCORE 98, I found VCORE 98 is a good parent.
Yeah, yes.
It's there by your side to encourage and to motivate, and it helps you be great.
Yeah.
And it will tell you if you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
But it's not going to make you do anything you don't want to.
Yes.
Yeah.
In terms of, I definitely described it as perfect in one of the previous reviews. I'll essentially sort of qualify that. It sits as the perfect balance. Power, spin, control, feel is great, stability adding to that. But in terms of how it sits in terms of the wider racket world, it kind of sits perfectly doing all of these things.
Yes, 100% agree.
In terms of if you are a 98 version 7 user, are you going to upgrade?
Yes, done.
Yeah, as am I. For the stability alone, I'm upgrading.
Yeah, you have to try it. At the very least, you have to try it. I would posit that if you try it, almost everyone is going to prefer it.
Yes.
It's almost impossible to prefer the old one. I'm not saying you won't, but you have to give it a try.
Yeah.
So good.
Now, we're going to get onto the 100, and spoiler alert, we don't like this one as much.
Do we like it more than the old one?
The VCORE 100. We're going to jump straight in. Power.
Compared to the old one, more, but not that much more.
I think there's too much.
But
I think it's too powerful.
You could, for some players, 100% there will be too much power in a 100. But the question is, for this video, is there more than the old version?
I think there is.
And it's a bigger change than it was in the 98, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so. And similar to the E-Zone, I think it splits out the player profile quite a lot. I think the 98, perfect, obviously, but I think that it lends itself to better quality players. And I think that the 100, much like the E-Zone 100, has this thing where it's, because of the added power, the bracket becomes easier to play with and therefore lends itself to intermediate players, club players. I think it's not that it's not good, it's just, from speaking purely on power, the new upgrade to me is just slightly too powerful. Where if you think all of the testing that we did on our strings over the last 18 months has been in a VCORE 100,
Yeah.
never felt overpowered.
No, yes, 100% agree. And I think similarly with the spin, all the changes that were promised by Yonex with the VCORE seem to be more pronounced in the 100
Yep.
than the 98.
Yep.
So the 98 has had subtle increases and changes, whereas the 100 changes are just a bit more obvious and a bit more dramatic.
Yes.
So you get more power, 100%,
Yeah.
and you get more spin
Yes.
than you did in the old version.
Yeah.
Again, not necessarily a bad thing. So we've got to be careful here because we don't like the 100, but it doesn't mean it's not good. It doesn't mean it's not better than the old one.
I think it's going to be very, very good for some players, and much like the E-Zone has been. I think what you may find, we're kind of jumping around here in the categories and talking more about who it's for, but it's pertinent. I think you might get more people who have been playing with the 100 shifting to a 98. Because the same way that people move from the E-Zone 100 to the E-Zone 98, because that power had increased so much that actually having the 98 reined that back in, and they got more of the outcomes that they were used to from playing with the old 100. And I think it's the same with this new one. So
It's almost like the rackets have been sort of shifted up in quality.
Yeah.
So it's like there is now the new VCORE 100 is more appropriate for more players.
Yeah.
Towards the bottom end of the tennis rankings. I don't know.
Yes.
Try not to offend anyone here.
Yeah.
If you're a really good tennis player, the 100 is very, very unlikely to be the racket you prefer from this range.
Yeah.
Unlike the old version where it was far more homogenous. I
Yes.
guess. These are more disparate. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just more different for different players, and that's the biggest change from the old version.
the way I see that Yonex has solved this is by adding the 100D to the range.
Yeah.
So you get an extra string, so you get more control back, and that is certainly the case. This is not a 100D review, we've got one of those, check them out. But I think that's the way that problem is solved. In terms of launch angle between the new and the old, if we're talking power spin,
Similar.
It's very similar. Again, the 100D will temper that for you if that was an issue. So stay tuned. That racket's not out for another month, but when it does come out, get your hands on one of those.
Yes, and then the sort of interesting element to this is everything we said in the 98 section about stability and feel and control is 100% true in the 100 as well.
Yeah.
Because the quality of the frame has been increased. It's those two things where it really starts to feel different.
Yeah.
Maybe the control is a bit lacking, but only because it's a more powerful spinny.
Yeah, it's 100 square inches, 1619.
So,
it's gonna have loads of pop off.
Yes, you're not out of control when you're using it. It's just not quite the same as the old version. And what we're saying is some people might prefer the old 100
Yeah.
compared to the new one because the new one has had slightly more of a significant change.
Yes, absolutely.
But don't ignore the VCORE. Try the 98 or the 100D, and that's what Yonex has done so well. Is they've made a VCORE for everyone.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well done, Yonex.
There you go.
Yeah, even I like it.
To summarise the 100, this to me is a much closer call. The 98, the new version, is better than the old one.
Yeah.
I think in almost always. The 100 is a little bit different. I
think, sorry to interrupt, it's better, but that might not be for everyone.
Yes, exactly. It might not suit you. So, as we said, there might be a shift for a lot of players going from the 100 down to the 98, down to the 98, up to the 98, up.
If you want to get really good, go 95. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, it's a different shift. It's a more it's a bigger challenge to say yes. I'm just going to go straight to the new one.
Yeah.
Definitely worth trying it out. There you go. An upgrade overall. Certainly cosmetically, we agreed it's miles better.
Well, yeah, it hits every box. It looks better, more power, more spin, better feel, better stability, more comfortable. What more do you want?
As always, don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe, so you never miss a thing. From Ben, Joe, and the shadow of Josh at
Terrifying, isn't it?
at PH Dennis.